Perfect. And we have just started. Welcome, Charles.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
for
much.
being in this container with me regarding the interview.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, I will ask you a couple of questions and feel free to elaborate in whatever path that you feel like.
Yes.
So, Charles, would you like to talk to or introduce yourself a little bit?
All right. My name is Charles Doiron. French background, living in Toronto right now. My parents were fourth generation Canadian from France. So I'll be the fifth one over here now. I have one daughter, two grandchildren, two grandsons. Currently own glazing business in Toronto, commercial glazing. So we do glass walls, skylights, door entrances, all types of malls as you go into and see the different uh, places that you'll be walking in on. We would be doing the storefronts in these places that are all glass. Uh, so yeah, so that's what I do right now. And then basically getting more into right now meditation and wanting to really grow in my life
And
or
that's then
continue
more the
growing.
continue growing. And is that then more your spiritual path that you're walking?
Yes, yes, yes. I've been a Christian all my life. Really been convicted as a Christian. Started very young age, um, and then as I the last I would say 5 or 6 years, I've really become a little bit disheartened, I guess, with the church and seeing how that was more of a business than it was a spiritual growth platform for me. So I ended up getting more into the meditation, and I find that to be much more self rewarding.
Mm. That's an interesting one as well, as in what does spirituality mean for you personally?
Yes, to me, spirituality is the connection that I have with Source, what I call Source. So having not feeling that there is a disconnection, that God doesn't live outside somewhere around. Yes, He lives within as well as all around. In my point of view, so I don't really see it as I'm good enough to be welcomed. I truly feel that I am welcomed and connected, just as everybody else is. There's no disconnect. There's connection, and as for myself, as I see myself more into this realm of spirituality, I see myself as that connection of all life and being a part of that all life. Just as one cell makes up this body of trillions of cells. My individuality is just like a cell in the trillions of cells that are out there that make the one body that create us.
Wow. And do you have certain like leaders or authors or people, thought leaders that you follow currently?
Well, right now I'm really following into the meditation realm, so it's more Joe Dispenza's meditations that I've really gravitated to. I've had other ones that I've listened to and that I've worked with, but I found that his methods seem to resonate with me as well as help me to grow in this journey.
Wow, amazing. And
Yeah.
and you and I have met in within the CLC community, so the certified life coach,
Yes.
certified life coach certification.
Yes.
Um, what has that coaching brought you?
Well, I mean, I've coached pro bono more than anything. There's been a few people that actually continue to call and ask. They don't do it as regular as they used to. I was doing a weekly basis with three people, but I've had a couple of people that actually have walked outside of the coaching session of with CLC. that have asked me to kind of help guide, give them a partnership in their journey as they struggle with certain aspects of their life, and that's really what I'm kind of led to in that with the CLC. It was I did want to get into being a life coach at the beginning. I really found it to be interesting that would be something that I really want to do. Um, but as I got more into the growth with meditation and, you know, looking at where my path was, I put more emphasis on my business. And as I did that, my business really started to shoot off quite well. But
Okay.
I'd say that CLC really did kind of introduce me to this whole life change, in
Wow.
all honesty. Yeah,
Really
which is
amazing what
nice.
kind of impact that it can have.
Yes, 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 for sure, for sure. Yeah, yeah. So, and it's
Mm.
been, I guess we're coming on a year now because it was February last year
Yeah,
in
correct.
which the CLC had actually started, right?
Yeah, it's unbelievable what kind of changes that all of us are going through, or at least that's my vision, my perspective.
Yes, yes, and mine as well. I definitely see that. Definitely see that. And even with yourself, I mean, you and I were both introduced actually when Franz had a small thing that was going on.
Yeah.
And yeah, I when I met you for the first time, I see a true difference in yourself, as well as myself, in my approach and how I speak. Because I really did feel at the beginning when the two of us were kind of speaking, I felt like, oh, maybe I've kind of, you know, turned him away from me in that sense because of the way I spoke. But it definitely has changed who I am, and I can see it in you as well. There's just this calmness that I see in you right now, and it's a beautiful thing to really be able to experience, in that sense. So, yeah. So congratulations on that. I mean, it absolutely is beautiful.
Yeah, same to you. It has been such an amazing journey of speaking with each other so often because we have that once a week, like getting together most of the time.
Yes.
It has been such an amazing journey,
Yes.
expanding.
Yes, 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 yes. I love that. I love that. And this Sunday morning thing that we do have going on, there's sometimes only the 3 or 4 or 5 of us. There's been up to 10 that have come on to our call, but they seem to have dwindled off quite a bit. But I still find that even if it was just the two of us, I really do walk away from every session feeling enlightened, feeling that there's growth that has been taking place, and I have a friend in you and others, and I feel seen and heard much more than I ever had before in that
Really
sense.
amazing.
Yeah, so I love that.
Mm. And we often talked about like habit creation as well. I'm very curious about what kind of habits that you have created and what you're doing to keep those habits intact. Because that's most of the time the most tricky one.
Yes, yes. So the habits that I have now put into play is my morning routine is one of them. Is where I get up, I'll do a 40-minute meditation, Joe Dispenza meditation. After that meditation, I do my breathing exercise, which I've learned looked at from Gary Brecka. And so I'm now up to 20 breaths where I do these deep breaths in and putting them out. At the end of the 20th breath, I hold, as when there's no air in me until I can't hold it anymore. And I'm probably up to 40, 50 seconds where I can literally hold with no breath in me. And then I take that deep breath back in and I usually hold that for about 20 seconds. And then I let that go. And I'll do that 3 times.
Wow.
After that, I do another breathing exercise where I stand up and I'm using my hands as I put them together and I'm drawing, the energy from the earth and I bring it all the way up. I go around and then I'll do that for 8 times, and then I go on the top of my head and I bring it down, and then I switch my hands where I'm basically just going like this, and I'm doing that twice. So I do that as basically 34 or 32 counts. So for these exercises at 8 counts. And then right after that, I actually have now started doing a 15-minute calisthenic workout. And
Wow.
then from there, yeah, I'll take my shower. And at the end of my shower, I do my 3 minutes of cold. And it is as cold as my shower gets every time. That has been going on now for about 10 weeks. After the 3 minutes of having it just on my body, I will put my head under, and my head's under for 20 seconds.
The shower water, you mean?
The cold shower, yeah.
Ah, yeah.
And so that's kind of the end of my morning routine that I've allowed to be a great habit, and it has changed my whole perspective, really, for the whole day. I really do. I'm able to basically take the challenges in which will come about in the business and all, and I'm more conscious of the way I'm responding, and really wanting to make sure that the response is going to be able to help things get further along, as opposed to having it be more damaging
Yeah.
as I would have responded in the past. So that has really that habit has really worked out well.
And is that
And
then the difference between reacting and responding for you? That you can
correct,
choose your reaction at this moment, or
yes,
you can respond in the way that you want it to be.
correct, and that really does come from you know becoming more conscious of how I am being at all times. So even if I do react in a certain way that I found not to be beneficial in any way, um, I'm more conscious of that, and I'm conscious of it right away.
Yeah.
And I don't give myself an excuse as I would have done in the past. I look at it for what it is. I don't dwell on it, but I will definitely at that point in time know that that is not the response that I would have wanted. That I reacted as opposed to responding, and I understand it, and I learn from it in
Yeah.
that sense. So yeah,
And
that's helping.
I don't know if you feel comfortable with it, but I'm also like a little bit curious about your age, because I know your age, but I don't know if you want to say it here.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to be 62 on March 5th. So yeah, I'm definitely, and I don't feel it, to be honest with you. Mentally, I do feel just as young as I always did, I guess, in that sense. I come from a family of 8, and I was the second youngest. And so we were always, as the young children of the family, we were always kind of set aside. The adults would sit at the table for dinner. We would sit at the coffee table. All the kids would sit at the coffee table. And that really um, kind of allowed me to never feel like I was ever growing up.
Oh, wow.
It always felt like I was just the kid. So yeah, I don't feel my age at all, and which is absolutely fantastic. And it does not hinder me in thinking that that I want to ever stop growing. I'm constantly learning new things, making sure that I'm constantly in a growth mindset.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to stay stagnant or feel like I ever stay stagnant. If I'm watching TV, like my wife just loves to watch TV, so I could watch so much TV at nighttime, not very much of it. Because I automatically feel like this is not life, man. Sitting
Yeah.
down and just watching TV. I
Yeah.
mean,
Being
unless it's
passive and just being an observer. That's
yes, yes, yeah. I
sometimes
want
you've
it.
outgrown that part.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think it's quite amazing, because my father is a little bit older than that you are, but it's so magnificent to hear your travel and your journey on what's actually possible within a certain age, but also within a certain time frame of growth. It's really
yes,
amazing.
yes,
So it's really
yeah.
great.
Yeah, appreciate that. I mean, I know as we were doing this journey with CLC, I was on a call with another younger man, and we were speaking about, how we see things, and they're not 100% truth. It's our perception of what we're seeing and hearing, right? So I had asked the gentleman at the time, so when you first met me, what did you really see? And he said, the first thing that I thought about is, what is this old man doing taking CLC? And I thought to myself,
Mm.
that's the first time that anybody ever really said anything like that to me. And I thought to myself, oh my goodness, I guess people do see me as an old man, but I don't. Like, I look in
Mm.
the mirror and I don't see me as an old man, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I just see me as a younger, vibrant individual who really feels that life has so much to offer, and I'm still ready to be, you know, getting in there and giving it my all. So
And that was the
that was
first time that someone mentioned that to you at
correct.
61, that you're an old man.
Yes,
Oh
exactly.
wow. I've
Yes.
heard it for myself already. I'm
Oh,
31,
wow.
which is
Yeah.
quite fun. I'm like,
Y-
okay, whatever.
Yeah. 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 It's a
Different culture
perception,
maybe.
right?
Really
So,
great.
yeah.
And what kind of inspired you into diving into the self development?
I think I've always really wanted to grow. When I felt in the past, things really coming harder in certain ways of certain things with business and stuff. I you know, I guess I always felt that there was something more that I really wanted to cling to and drive myself to get. Um, you know, in the past, I put a lot of my time and effort into the church, and I was a head deacon for a while. Um, so I was in with the board of directors, and I really did, in my church life, I really did want to be a part of helping others in their spiritual walk, as well as allow them to help me in my spiritual walk. Um, Constant, and I found that in spirituality of following Christ as my Lord and Savior, that there was always a constant growth moving forward
Mm.
in that sense, right? And yeah, I mean, speaking that you were 31, I mean, that's, we lost Christ at 33. So, and people would have seen him as being, somebody older at that point in time.
Yeah,
So,
I bet. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So I
So,
still
but
have 2 more years to go. You mentioned.
there you go.
I'll make the most of it.
Yes, yes, yes. But if I look back now, I think that my real turnaround in life, where I started to become more of an adult, I would say, was when I was like 38, when I really started to switch my mindset in thinking that life really had so much more to offer than what I was giving it permission of back then.
Yeah.
Because before that, I didn't see myself as being mature. I was really just, you know, working. I was a workaholic in the construction trade, and I wanted to work and play. But in around 38 is when I started to really start to clamp down and say, okay, I really want to get somewhere in my life, and I really want to move forward. And so that was my journey. So
And what is then matureness? What does that mean for you of being an adult?
I guess it was taking responsibility of who and what I was being.
Hmm.
Prior to that, I didn't really take the responsibility. I would have put blame on others. I'm this way because of my father. I'm this way because of my circumstance, in
Yeah.
that sense, right? Whereas I remember clearly thinking at around 38 that this is time that I'm now moving forward in growth of taking responsibility of who I'm being and what I want to create while I'm here on this earth.
Yeah, that's a big one, responsibility.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of funny. I remember an interview that I did with someone else, with Frans. And I gave kind of the similar answer, as in, what does adulthood mean, or responsibility? I'm like, that's interesting that you mentioned the same answer.
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
I kind of want to like go back a little bit because you mentioned something about the cold shower, which I didn't realize in our conversations just yet. You first started with 3 minutes on your body, and then you ended off with a couple of seconds, minutes, I don't know, with water
Yeah,
on your face.
yeah. 20 seconds with my head completely under.
Okay. I directly go with my hat. So I kind of want to use your tactic as well. I kind of want to test it out.
Right. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'm not quite sure if you'd be able to stay 20 or 3 minutes with your head underwater. So what ends up happening while we are under the cold water, all of the blood literally will, all from all your veins will literally squeeze in to get into the core.
Yeah.
And so as you're putting it onto the head, all of the blood is really getting into the core of the brain. And it's, at a certain point, like when I first started, I was able to get 10 seconds. I had tried 15 seconds and I found to have a headache after that when I did it at the beginning. Um, so I would assume that if somebody was to be, a minute with their head under the cold water, that you would probably have an extreme headache. I couldn't imagine you wouldn't. I don't know. I
Mm,
know that when you're doing cold plunges, you're never putting your head under the water. You're always up to your neck in cold water. And then I know with Gary Brecka, he had said, so that he does allow the blood to get to the pineal gland, so that you can get these visions, or you allow the pineal gland to be able to expand, to grow, to help us expand
mm,
in that sense. So he'll go under the water for 10 seconds. And he says basically that's to get that blood up and into that pineal gland area. But yeah, no, I couldn't. So it, basically, it's the body only, for your three
mm,
minutes, right? I know when I started, it was like even just with the body, it was very difficult to stay in there the 20, 30 seconds. It takes about, I would say, well, right now, when I first go, I've been doing it now for, I guess, 9 or 10 weeks, 11 maybe. So I'm finding it to be easier on my system, even within the first 10 to 15 seconds. But the first couple of weeks, or 3, 4 weeks, it was taking me 40 to 50 seconds to calm my breathing down. I was kind of almost hyperventilating from the shock of the cold water being put onto my body. But as I started to mentally be more prepared for it, and of course, when you're doing it, because I do not give up on it, I do it every day. Um, so it just seems now my body and my mind is prepared, and it
mm,
helps me to calm my breathing down almost immediately. And it seems to go by pretty quick for me, the 3 minutes right now. It doesn't seem like a long period of time. When I'm in the shower at the beginning, when I was just before I got into the shower, um, I was almost dreading it. It
yeah.
wasn't anticipation, but now I don't think about it. I allow myself just to take my shower, and I immerse myself into the cold without actually giving it thought. So
And
that,
when you're, because there's like two methods on actually starting to do something difficult like this, as in having the water fully cold and then go into that like 10 seconds, and then next day 15, and then 20, and then 30, like expanding the length of exposure.
yes,
Or what I did in the past. Well, I still kind of do that right now. As I'm just going into the shower and then reducing and reducing until I am comfortable enough to a certain point. I'm like, okay, I can keep my breathing down and keep being in the shower.
Right.
So what do you like prefer or what do you advise?
Well, that I tried that. I tried where I was turning the water while I was in the water. I was stayed in the water and I turned it to the cold, and I found that to be difficult for me. I didn't really like it that much. Then I had watched Gary again, and he had said, stand out, let the water get freezing cold, 30 seconds to 1 minute, and then take a deep breath and then stand in, walk into it. And so when I did that, I found my body was more resilient. As I
Mm,
was slowly going from warm to cold, as I was standing in it, I just found that it allowed my mind to be more skeptical at wanting to do this. It was just something about it that was more difficult for me. I
yeah,
don't know why, but I did find that okay. Let me take this advice and take that deep breath in, because when I took the deep breath in and I walked into it, my body was prepared differently, and it helped. It helped a
yeah, and
lot.
I can kind of imagine that the shock itself is also the goal.
Correct.
So
Yes.
yeah, maybe my method is kind of like a cheat. It's not really the cold shower moment then,
Yes. Yeah. Well, I
because it's
haven't.
not about the cold shower, but it's about the shock, perhaps.
Yes. Well, and I had a friend that had recommended this too, and he says he's in for 40 seconds right now. But he says what he does is he jumps around, like kind of dancing, like so he's jumping within the water. Um, I'm not trying to allow my body to get warm or distracted of the cold. I'm allowing it to actually um, allow it to be without wanting it to be different. So I'm not trying to change the feeling within that cold, because I found that is kind of tricking my mind, and my mind will constantly say, hey, this is not really working, it's still freezing cold. Like, you
Yeah,
could jump
exactly.
around or do what you want. I mean, I had another person, she had just started it. She said she told me 3 days ago she was 8 days into it, and she tries singing while she's in there, trying to distract her mind, right? But she's finding it difficult, because she's obviously the singing is, she says it. I wouldn't want anybody to hear me at that point in
Yeah,
time. But I
and
focused strictly on my counting. So I
and
count,
you count. That's your focus point. Because
correct,
um
to understand my 3 minutes, right? So I'm counting from 1 to
oh you
60 three different times.
wow
Like, yeah,
oh that's intense.
yeah.
Because what I personally often do is I listen to my breathing and then I'm trying to like relax my muscles
Mm,
to get into that state as in it's okay, just enjoy the cold. It's okay.
right. Yeah.
You are the observer of your body, so you can control your body.
Yes.
But like actually counting, I've never done that, so I'm going to
Yeah.
try that as well. Thank you.
Yeah. The one thing that I'm getting more into as well is I'm getting it right onto my shoulder. So it's going in more onto my back as well. At the first, I was kind of just strictly sticking into the front, but now I'm more into the shoulder. I don't turn around as of yet to allow it to be directly onto my spine, but I do get it to go right down my whole back through the shoulder area, because I've had problems with my shoulders. I think maybe because my shoulders are a little wider. When I'm sleeping, I was having a lot of difficulty because I sleep on my side, so I'm constantly turning side to side, and I was getting quite a bit of pain in my shoulders. But I found that pain has really diminished.
Because of
I
the cold showers.
yes, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So that the coldness actually, if you have any inflammation, the best thing for the inflammation is to put ice on it. So this is basically in that, I look at it as being that same thing. But we also know that in the cold water, your body is releasing, uh, you know, from the cold shock protein of the liver to help actually build, to get the free radicals out. But it's also doing muscle repair at that same time.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that really, really helps in that sense. And then, another thing was my knees. I had my right knee where I had torn my meniscus about 10 plus years ago. I had an operation. They had to scrape the meniscus. On my left knee, I was basically, I would say 6 months ago or so, I really felt like maybe I had torn the left as well because I had already known that experience. And so now what I do is after my cold shower, I get out and I put, uh, what's the oil? Oh, I forgot the name of the oil that I put onto my knees now. It's just missing my mind. It'll come to me. But I put this oil on my knee, which, had been recommended, and it absolutely helps 100%. My knee pain has gone. And my first time trying the calisthenics, I felt my knees. But now when I'm, after my cold shower, I put this on my knee and gone. I don't have that feeling at all anymore.
What kind of calisthenics movements do you do? I don't think you're actually like pressing your knees with it,
Yeah,
or
yes. So, there's different for each day. So some days I'm doing my chest and my abs, but there are days that I'm doing a lot of leg work. So there's bending
also
down,
like
squats,
burpees and
yeah,
movements
squats,
and squats?
lunges, and stuff like
Wow,
that. So yes, and
that's
so I
intense for
would
the knees.
exactly, I would not have been able to do that a year ago at all.
Wow.
So yeah,
And
castor oil.
do
That's what it is.
ah,
Castor oil is what I put in there. Yeah, I told you it was going to come to me.
yeah. Yeah, let's relax in it and then it will come.
Yes, yes.
Really amazing. Great.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm totally, yeah. It's unbelievable this what this castor oil is able to do, and apparently it's the most deep penetrating oil. So it's getting right into the joints of my knees and gone. I know when I first started experiencing pain in my knee, one of the recommendations that I had, which I did, was grating ginger, and I put grated ginger on a cloth, put that ginger directly onto my knee, and then I would wrap the cloth with saran wrap to hold it on my knee overnight, and that definitely helped to take the pain away from my knees while I was sleeping. Because as I sleep on my side, even though I have a pillow between my, the long pillow, I still felt my knees were waking me up with a throbbing.
Wow.
So I first started with this ginger. Ginger definitely helped. But now with the cold shower and the castor oil on my knees, I don't need any ginger because I don't experience that at all. Right.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's been a real blessing for me.
Really amazing.
Yeah.
Is there something that you want to close the conversation off with? Something that you want to tell, or maybe how people are able to find you regarding the coaching or something else?
Right. Well, yes. I mean, at any time, if anybody wanted to be able to get a hold of me, I mean, they can go by my name, which is Charles Waron, 62, which is the year I was born, at gmail.com,
Oh,
which is
nice.
fantastic. Yes, it makes it easy. Well,
Yes,
easy. And then I thought to myself, wow, people shouldn't do that. But, when it comes down to it,
we,
it's,
we can blur it out as well if you want.
yeah,
Everything is
yeah,
possible.
yeah. But no, but I thank you very much for this, Tim. I appreciate this. I appreciate your interest and wanting to do this. And yeah, no, it really does. It's appreciated 100%. So thank you so much for that.
Yeah, thank you for your story. I've learned a couple of things and stuff that I'm going to test out as well. So that's
Excellent.
really great. And now that I know that I only have 2 years to live, so that
Yeah, yeah.
I have to make the most of it.
No, no, they're not going to crucify you, my friend.
I have to be careful because my manifestation power is growing. So I have to be
That's
careful with
that's
saying
right.
stuff like that.
That's right. Yes, yes. Our words are extremely powerful. So
Yes, they are. That's a
thank you very
beautiful way
much.
to end it.